Welcome to Between Both Cheeks, the podcast where we talk business, beauty, and butts. We'll be stripping down the aesthetics industry, whether you're here for spicy beauty tips, savvy business advice, or just a little banter. We've got you covered from front to back. So pull up a cheek and get ready to discover what happens between both cheeks.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Between Both Cheeks. I have a special guest. She's been on our podcast before, Marley Jaxx. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So fun.
So excited to have you. I know, right? I love when we do this because it's just like a catch-up call.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
And I'm I want to hear your adventures. You're on the road. You're doing some fun things.
Yeah, but girl, let's talk about probably the most iconic wedding in history.
I mean, not going to brag, but I'm totally going to brag. It was epic.
So tell the people, first of all, what it was.
Yeah. Well, it was just this little 3-day wedding. And we sold tickets to it, which I know that just hearing that right away, some people, they like whiplash, like turn their head. Wait, you did what? You sold tickets to your wedding? And people are either like, tell me more, that's amazing, or ew, how dare you? Because it just hasn't been done before. But we sold tickets to our wedding because it turned into being this like 3-day event. Of course, you could just come for the one day for the wedding, but it all started when we were like any engaged couple, start looking at venues. And there was this one place that we went, and the villain in my story is we got this quote, and in the quote was a line item for a $650 cake cutting fee.
Wow.
Just to cut the cake, not even including the cake. And so I went to social media, of course, as one does, and I start posting. I'm like, can you believe this? We got this quote for $650 for a cake cutting fee. My comments flooded with people that were like, yeah, I had to pay $30 for a charger plate, not even for the food or anything. Like, just, as soon as you say the word wedding, the price goes up times 10. And in this, funny social media conversation, I just kind of jokingly said, I've always thought that people should sell tickets to their wedding. Like, instead of buying a toaster, just buy the ticket. And then that way you actually know how many people are coming. People have RSVP'd with their wallets. You have the budget to pay for the day. And then if couples make a profit on that they can put towards their honeymoon or a down payment on their house, like, amazing. And in the comments, people responded saying, you should do it. I would buy a ticket, and the wedding industry is ripe for disruption. And so we toyed around with it for a long time. Like, it was not just like let's go do this thing. Like, we really agonized over it for a bit because it hasn't been done before. And we knew people were going to love it or hate it. Not that people's opinions really hold us back from doing things, because we already, we're disruptors. We know that we're doing something good for the world, no matter what people think about it. And so we did it, and we had 300 people come. And it was a 3-day wedding with different options, because the day before was that you could come for like a relationship retreat. And we brought in some relationship experts who came and did some, teaching on like how to have healthy, especially a lot of entrepreneur relationships, what that's like. Then there was the wedding day. There's also a rehearsal dinner that people got to come to as well. And then the day after the wedding, we had a biohacking brunch where we had health experts and breath work and red light and brain optimization, and it was amazing. And then on top of that, like icing on the cake, we raised $132,000 for our favorite charity. And
that's huge. Amazing. I saw that. That's huge. And I love how you explained how this came to be, because when you explain it, it makes complete sense.
I know, right?
I think when you put it out there, I could see where people were maybe like a little bit cringe, like, what do you mean tickets? But like, it makes so much sense, because you're going to get 9 toasters. You're going to get, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to get duplicate gifts of everything. People don't have the time to like go out and shop. Like, they'll throw money in an envelope because that's so much easier to do. Everyone's busy. People completely commit once they buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Because how many times, I mean, one of our bright babes got married and someone tried to RSVP like 3 days before the wedding. She's like, no. Like, I needed to give like the counts weeks ago.
Yeah.
You can't just come. Like, the tables have been like set and named, and the placeholders are there.
And then there's also the people that I had a friend of mine that she's like, I wish I could have done this, because we had people that RSVP'd and then no-showed. Meanwhile, they paid the catering for all the food that then they didn't have to necessarily pay that. Sure, they have leftovers, but like, it's also kind of a slap in the face. You say you're coming and you don't, and then they've paid for it. And
this is iconic. Like, this is, and I love that you disrupted the industry, because it needs to happen.
I believe so.
Like, cake cutting fees $6.50. Excuse me.
What?
It's insulting.
Yes.
Right. So this is amazing, and the fact that you raised money and gave it to charity makes it to a whole new level.
Yeah. We were
300 people. 300 people.
Yeah.
And it's not like you just sold tickets to the wedding. You made it an actual event for people to come and learn, recharge, refresh, meet like-minded people.
Yeah. They had a great time. There were so many people there that said that the energy of the wedding felt different, because I don't know if you've ever gotten a wedding invitation. You kind of felt like obligated to go. You're like,
100%.
Hey, I guess I'll go. When people like take out their credit card and say, yes, I'm coming, like there's a different feeling to it, because everyone that wanted to be there was there. And also, I'll just add, the ticket was like, the main ticket for just the wedding day was $57. And I loved when people would say, that's the cheapest wedding I've ever been to.
100%.
Right? Most people are spending like hundreds of dollars on it. I had one friend that she's like, for my cousin's wedding, I just spent $2,500 because we had to travel, and I had to get a bridesmaid dress, and then I also had to get a gift on top of that. Like, I wish I could pay $57. That's like what you'd spend for a Friday night out getting pizza or something.
100%. Yeah. I don't even think that covers like movie tickets.
Right. Exactly.
Right. That is amazing. Tell me about, because people start to reach out to you about sponsoring.
Yes, it was so
talk
amazing.
about that.
Well, so I documented the entire process. Like, as I said, I started sharing the story right from like looking at venues. And so as we were toying around with the idea, I would go back and forth, and like, I really built this with an audience, saying like, okay, what should I price it at? What would you buy a ticket for this? What kind of entertainment would you want? So it was like, it was really a co-created thing. And so because it was gaining a following as I was talking about it, I mean, what a great opportunity for the right businesses to come into place to be like, how do I tap into that following?
Yeah.
So we had like an energy drink that they donated a bunch of energy drinks for people to have at the wedding. We had a local ice cream company that the joke was like, well, you don't have to cut ice cream, so we'll have ice cream.
I love that.
And then oh my gosh, this was amazing. So we ended up having this amazing ice cream. It was like smoked salted caramel ice cream, which like, I didn't know you could smoke ice cream. It was fantastic. But then I get a DM from this woman that she's like, hey, I want to make your cake. And I was like, oh, we weren't planning on having a cake. And I get on a call with her. She's like, just please let me tell you my story. I'm like, okay, sure. She's like so adamant about it. So, tell me. She won best tasting cake in the world, competing against 19 other countries in Milan, Italy. And she flies all over the world making these like Beyonce level cakes that like descend from the ceiling from a chandelier. And she flew here from Jamaica to make our cake. And like, that's the power of like telling your story online and just building it with an audience that people wanted to get involved.
That is wild.
Yeah. It was so crazy.
So you like really elevated everyone that was there.
Yeah.
Individuals, businesses, yourself, your brand, what was your growth in social media from this platform?
Oh, well, it's funny because so this went very viral. Like I knew that it was getting a following, but I didn't expect how big it was going to go. Like People magazine covered it. They did an exclusive in People magazine. It was in New York Post, Daily Mail. We were on the morning show in Australia, which is like their Good Morning America equivalent. It was on I had a friend that lives in Italy that he's like, I just heard them talking about it on the radio. We did a radio show in Dubai. We're in a print magazine in the UK. Today we just got interviewed in BuzzFeed that will be dropping soon. And it's like, it just keeps growing and growing. Like, imagine what someone would pay for that kind of publicity.
100%.
Like
100%.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's crazy.
And you can't even buy that because this is authentic. This is happening. This is real. You're not scripting something. You're not putting something together for someone to promote and say.
Yeah.
That's the best type of advertising.
Absolutely. But with that, I will say the story's gotten twisted. Like, I love when I can actually share the story. You know, I tell you
Okay.
about the cake cutting fee and like, don't buy a toaster kind of thing, because the interviews are great. But then when they go out and they print it, or they, take the little clips from the interview, the media, they need to get clicks, they need to get engagement, they need to get, whatever they can sell to their sponsors. And so the headlines get twisted. Like, there was one headline that said couple charges $1,000 for their wedding tickets and profits $132,000. It's like, no, there was $1,000 option for the full weekend, which when you see the value of that, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But $57, and then we raised $132,000 for charity that did not even touch my Stripe account. It went straight to the charity. So it's funny, but it's also, you have to consider most of the people who are reading this, that as entrepreneurs, like, you and me, we do bold things, we take risks all the time, and we know that we're disruptors, we know that we're leading the path, and that there's people that won't understand or will see that as like a threat, or that it's dangerous. And so I think because it's something that's so new and their brain can't register it, it's like, instead of trying to think of how to understand it, they just immediately criticize and put up a wall. But it really hasn't, it hasn't bothered me at all, because I know I was there. It was an amazing event. No one is forced to buy a ticket and get on a plane and get a babysitter and attend anything. And the ripple effect of $132,000 for Village Impact, which is going to build 9 classrooms in Kenya, that we actually are going to go with a group of people that came to the wedding and said, we want to go too. And so they also donated, like, for the full classroom. Some of them put their names on classrooms. They're coming with us July 2026 to build the schools with us.
All from charging tickets for your wedding.
From a little wedding. Like, that's something that, like, if I think about it a lot, I'll get emotional to think, like, imagine 10 years from now, there's someone that's like starting their career because they got to go to school because of this little wedding that happened across the country that they had no idea about.
Yeah. I wouldn't say little wedding. It was a 3-day wedding with 300 people.
Well,
I love that you call that little, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's not little.
Yeah.
And, like, in regards to the haters and, the comments that are out there and stuff, true. And I know it's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, like, great that you have the haters, because that's just more clicks for you, right? Like, your haters are truly your number one fan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in that.
Yeah. They're watching the closest.
Right? They're the ones that are forwarding, they're doing all of the things to make you successful in the background. So good on the haters, right?
And I kind of just respond to them with humor. Like, there was one comment that was like, you're a classless piece of work. And I'm like, technically I'm a classless piece of work that just raised $132,000 for charity. So I'll take it.
And let's talk about how many people get into debt by having a wedding.
Yes.
As couples.
And expected.
Versus what you've done and now, like, building education for, is it for young girls? Is it just students? Is it boys and girls? Talk a little bit about the charity.
Yeah. So in Kenya, it's a charity called Village Impact, and we went with them to Kenya 2 years ago. So we actually got to experience it. That's why it's so close to our hearts. Like, there's no, oh my gosh, please come with me someday. Like, there's no feeling like just coming into the village and hundreds of children running towards you, and they're singing and they're so happy. And, like, some of them, all they have is the shirt on their back, and, like, they're so, oh my gosh, please come with. I'm going to give you the details. I would love.
I love this
next year.
I love this.
It's life changing. And the charity is run by some friends of ours that, like, they've been doing this for 19 years. And they know how to do it in a way that's very sustainable. Because when we were there, I heard of the phrase white saviorism for the first time. And it's where, well-meaning white people from a first world country go over to a third world country, and they're like, I'll save you. And they plant something there that they don't actually work with the people that live there. And it ends up being a burden instead of, like, the blessing that they intended. And so Village Impact, we got to see firsthand how they come into communities and they work with the community leaders to, like, what do you need? How can we build this together? And so when we were there last year, we visited several schools, but one that really touched my heart was the Nagia Girls School. And they built a school, and this is specifically for girls. Of course, they do have schools for boys and girls, but this one we visited touched me because they had amazing technology. They also built this water system that like dug, I don't know, hundreds of feet into the ground to bring up clean water that then the school could then sell to the village. So the village is being provided water. The school is also making money from selling that water so that they can have a sustainable system. The other thing I learned while I was there that totally wrecked me was I had never heard of the term period poverty. Do you know poverty?
Yes. Yeah. But please talk about it.
Yep. I was not aware of this at the time. And it's, you know, in third world countries where girls don't have the resources to take care of their menstrual cycles, like they don't have pads, tampons, the reusable, you know, Ruby cups or those things. Sometimes they don't go to school during that time of the month, or they resort to other kind of desperate measures, even selling their bodies to be able to provide for themselves, and to think of something that we just take for granted every day.
Yes.
I need a tampon, even if I don't have one. I can go find a stranger in a restroom and be like, "Hey, you got one?" And there's a girl
100%.
each other's back, and they just don't have that. And so I was like so shaken by that, to think of these girls that don't have the same level of opportunities because of their biology. And so I asked the leaders there, like, how much would it cost to fund this entire school with Ruby cups, like, you know, the ones that are reusable?
Yeah.
And they were like, with, you know, getting them and also the education, because you got to train them on how to use it, they were like $10,000, which to me, I was like, we could raise that in a weekend. Like we could absolutely, and think of the ripple effect of the girls who their lives would be forever changed because of a little piece of plastic, you know? And so that was another reason where I was like, I can solve that problem for them. And yeah, that was like one of the big things that got me so passionate about working with Village Impact.
I love this. Oh my God. So look how much good has come from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is your biggest highlight from those 3 days?
I mean, definitely the people that came to it, the feel, like the afterglow even of people weeks later being like, wow, I'm still thinking about it. And it was more than a wedding. And when we did drop the charity donation, like we did a cool thing where the charity donation didn't actually come from the ticket sales. The ticket sales covered the cost of the wedding, which I'll add, the wedding cost $50,000 for a 3-day wedding for 300 people. I think that's pretty fantastic.
Girl, I was going to say, you got a whole other business right there.
I know.
That's insane.
And that's where, like, you know, sometimes when the media twists it and they're like, oh, selfish people, if you can't afford to have a wedding, then don't get married. And it's like, it wasn't about affording it. It was about creating something different, showing a different way, giving back to the community. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we did a 3-day wedding for $50,000, where most people's 1-day wedding is $50,000 or more.
Exactly, or more.
I was really proud of what we created. So anyway, at the wedding, that's where we dropped a charity offer. We said, hey, you know, we have these tiers that if you donate $100, we have bracelets that were made from the kids in Kenya. We had $1,000 donation offer. We had a $15,000 donation. The $15,000 was to actually come to Africa with us next year. The $15,000 goes directly, like it costs $15,000 to build one classroom. So that's, you know, they would have their name on the classroom and be able to, like, that was theirs. And then we had some silent auction art, and that it was like once the momentum started and it was like this person donated and then this person and this person and this person, like when we got to 30,000, I was like, oh, we built 2 classrooms. And then it was like 50, and then it was 70. And then when we hit 100,000, I was like on the ground, just, oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Yeah. You made your wedding about a charity and other people as opposed to making it about yourself.
That is such a nice compliment, because and someone said a similar thing, that they were like, you know, most weddings are about the couple, which they should be. Mm-hmm. But he said it also felt like it was about us. Like we got to be part of something, and having the relationship aspect and the biohacking aspect, and then also the charity component. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs there who, of course, are excited to like meet other entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
you don't typically promote a wedding as like a networking thing, but
you did. It's wild. I'm devastated I couldn't make it.
I know.
I tried to change my flight. But I was heading to Spain. Yeah, I tried.
Yeah.
It would have been iconic. But yeah, you truly made it about the charity, the guests, and not about yourselves, which is I mean, you want to talk about not being selfish. People want to call you selfish. That, I mean, that is completely opposite.
Yeah, I wish more people could see it that way, but I think that it's going to be one of those things where like I love to compare this, you know, when Uber first came out, people were like,
Mm.
"No, they're not licensed taxis." And there were, you know, protests and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
absolutely.
And now look, it's normal. And Airbnb, getting a hotel, it's like just a different option.
Yeah.
And it's disruptive until it becomes normal.
Hmm.
And I think the way for it to become normal is just to like keep talking about it and keep showing the opportunities. And I think my next move with this is to plug into wedding businesses. Like, imagine if I can go to wedding planners and say, hey, what if you offered this level of service where you help the brides be able to lower the cost of their wedding by either selling tickets, getting brand deals, doing sponsorships, doing trades and exchanges, and no one loses there. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes, again, when people don't hear the full story, it's like, oh, these influencers are just trying to get free stuff and like trying to pay people an exposure. No, you have no idea. Like, the businesses that got involved, whether I exchanged some kind of a service with them or introduced them, or
Hmm.
I even like did services for people, like the venue that we had the wedding at. He's this like older gentleman that he's, you know, he's not on social media. He doesn't, he's like, I just want to mow my lawn and have people enjoy my property.
Yeah.
And so I started doing his social media for him for a bit. And he's like, I started getting calls on day one for people to come tour the venue. So he's made more money from getting more rentals at the venue than my rental that I would have just
Yes.
paid for him.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to create and show people is like, we can solve problems and be creative and collaborative instead of going into debt and making it this whole stressful thing. Because, like, I mean, think about every Hollywood movie that's about a wedding is like, the bride's excited, then she goes crazy, then she
Hmm.
ruins relationships, and then at the
Yeah.
end of the movie she has to come back to like, oh wait, what's this all about? Love and marriage and something that's sacred. Like, can we start that from the beginning? And also not like, think about one huge thing that I keep repeating is financial strain is the number one cause of conflict in a marriage. Why are we just expected to go into debt for these things? And
Yeah.
again, it's not about if you can't afford it, don't get married. It's here's another option.
Yeah. And you know, going back to kind of Hollywood and stuff, and the whole term of like, she was a, what is it called? Like a bridezilla? Is that
Bridezilla.
right? Bridezilla. Like, why even, you know, start with that terminology and have your wedding be like a negative tone even to begin with?
Right.
And then you add on the debt, and then you add on the fighting, and then, I mean, I think you did it right. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I'm thrilled about it. And it's one of those things that like I think we'll look back on for the rest of our lives and be like, that was so us, you know? Like if we didn't do it that way, because we
Mm.
debated on it for a long time when we first kind of thought of the idea and had the encouragement, we were like, do we do it? I don't know. Like, is it crazy? Is it going to be more stressful? Because we also didn't want to turn it into business. Like we didn't want to show up to our wedding and feel like we're fulfilling for customers. We do
Right.
enough of that in our day-to-day business. And
Yeah.
we had to create strong boundaries around what we did too, of like, okay, we're planning all the way up. We have help, of course. But then on the wedding day, like we got to switch to like husband and wife mode,
Right.
receive mode. And then there were like requests to like people would ask to sponsor our vows. And we're like, no, we're not going to do that.
There's a limit. There's
Yeah.
a limit.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the next couple that does this.
Oh, I know. And they got to be brave. And,
Yeah.
but also like that's how, because I've been tagged in stories of couples that did do it. Like there was a couple in New York that they charged $333 a ticket for their wedding. And I actually reached out to them because I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to be like, how was it? Like, what was your experience like? Because the headlines say they invited 300 people, but only 60 came. And they like make it sound so negative. And I'm like, is that the truth? Or did you twist it the way you twisted my story?
Right. Right. So do you think there's a business opportunity here for you to, you talked about earlier about maybe like working with wedding planners and stuff like that. Is that like a serious thing that you're thinking?
Yes. Yes.
I think it's brilliant.
I think that's the way to get it out. And I know that if I don't do it, someone else will. And I think that it's a great opportunity for disruption. The next question is just like the timing, the capacity. Do I find someone to partner with to be able to like, because I have my other businesses too, but it's something that I am really passionate about. And I love Sarah Blakely. She's the one that created
Yes.
the company Spanx and now
Yes.
Sneaks. And I'm like, this is like my Sarah Blakely business, like something that just disrupted, was female led.
Yeah.
And I actually did get a message on LinkedIn from an investor that he was like, I saw the media. I love this. I invest in B2B businesses, would love to talk. So I think my calls with him is actually like tomorrow or something. That
I love this.
I mean, I don't know. I also don't like want to jump into a marriage with another business partner right away, but it's cool that it's getting some interest because I would love help with what are the next steps to make this happen.
I love this Sarah Blakely. I'm a huge fan of Sarah Blakely as well. And I love this reference because do you know about her wedding dress that she does?
No.
So she passes her original, the wedding dress. She passes it on to brides that either like can't afford it or like, I mean, it was, I think also like during COVID and stuff. So her dress is mailed around and donated to different brides. So I don't know how many brides have worn that same dress, and it just continues to get passed around. And I don't know if it's like from financial strain or I assume that's what it's from, but she donates her dress.
It's like a sisterhood of the traveling wedding dress.
Exactly.
Wow.
So this, you know what, now that you actually said it and spoke it into the universe, this might be the right fit.
Honestly, and I think that one of my superpowers in life is just like putting an idea out there and waiting for something to respond. And so maybe it is just, hey, I want to disrupt this industry. I can't do it alone. I need help.
Yeah.
Who's available to help me or who has ideas. And I did have people even like look at the businesses that wanted to be involved, that asked to sponsor, that promoted it too. Like there is interest. And so I think I just have to create, look at this wedding. This wedding was a proof of concept.
Yeah.
And look at all the media attention to say like, we got millions of eyeballs on this.
Yeah.
And it was controversial because it's new. They don't know how to handle it. And the more you talk about something, the more people's minds and ideals can be changed.
Girl, you know I love controversial.
Oh,
I live for controversial. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so when Sarah Blakely calls you to have this lunch, please invite me. That's the only thing I'm going to ask. Please invite me to that lunch.
I love her. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. How long did it take you to plan this?
So we got engaged January 1st of this year. And we decided in like February, March that we were going to go through with doing the tickets. And then we launched the sales page, which people can still see. If you go to crashthepartywithsteveandmarley.com, that's what the sales page looks like. And so from April to August was our open cart window.
That's fast.
Yeah, it was.
Like you must have been working on this full time.
It's funny because I didn't realize how much, now that I don't have the wedding anymore, I'm like, wow, I have so much free time.
Yeah.
And by free time, now I go back to my main business.
Yeah, that's you pump that out fast.
Yeah. But it was so exciting. I was so energized by it. Like I did, you probably saw the content series where every day I did a video that was like, day 10 of selling tickets to my wedding. Well, here's what happened today. Da, da, da. And I had such a blast with it. Like now that content series is over, I'm like, well, now what can I document my way to building? It was just, I had a blast and I loved the response in the comments that people would say, oh, do this next. Or, it was really co-created with an audience.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. What's one thing you would change?
What would I change? I probably would have spent more time on the Village Impact pitch. I think that I could have done a better, I speak from stage and I pitch from stage, and I'm so thrilled that we raised 6 figures, but there were things I thought of after that I was like, I could have done that better. I could have said this differently. But I also, I do that for any kind of speech or presentation that I give. Other than that, everything went really great. Like I had good help. We had a great wedding planner that helped. And it's funny, I only found my wedding planner a month before, where I was like, I can't be the one telling people where to go on the day of. So
100%. I'm so glad you did that for yourself.
I don't know why I waited so long either, but it was more of like, I knew what I was doing in planning the event. It was now just like the boots on the ground to coordinate, you go here, call me if you have a question kind of thing. So maybe I would have hired the wedding planner sooner. But also, this is a good story. We found a wedding planner that she I don't think she liked the idea at all, because she was worried about vendors getting cut out of the equation and not making enough money from it. And we were saying, like, no, and here's these stories of like this person that made more and this person that made more. And she quoted us like $70,000 or something for wedding planning. And I was like, this is another cake cutting fee. Like, no. And then they came to they crashed our wedding and wanted to scope it out. And they didn't buy a ticket, but they wanted to scope it out. And they asked some funny questions to our wedding planner that seemed like they were jealous, but our wedding planner was perfect. The one that we found was absolutely perfect. And she was very connected in the community, also got other businesses involved that, got in front of the right audience. And we were excited that we could all collaborate together.
I love this entire story. I'm so glad we got to do this. I've been dying to talk to you. I was thinking about you on your wedding day.
Aw, thank you.
Just absolutely incredible. I'm sad that I missed it. Spain was great, but this would have been iconic.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. What are your social profiles so people can reach out to you? How can they get involved in this? Give us the whole spiel.
Yeah, come check out Marley Jaxx, and that's Jaxx, Jaxx with 2 X's. Reach out on Instagram, on YouTube. I have a big YouTube channel, and also on the YouTube channel, I made several videos documenting building the way up to the wedding and like more of the reason behind it. So you can check that out. And also if you go to I forgot I had a social media account. It was called Paid for Weddings. So
I love that.
Weddings, you can see the whole content series as well there.
I love this. Marley, always a pleasure.
So fun.
Thank you so much for joining me. And we'll see you guys next week.